All right, Coach. We are now back here and we're about 7 weeks out from Comrades Day.
Yes.
All right, and I've got a lot of general runners, social runners, the works, who are looking towards guys like yourself to give us some advice. So I'm going to ask you, if I'm going to run Comrades and I'm 7 weeks out, where should I be as someone who's wanting to conquer Comrades?
Yes.
Let's start with a social who wants to finish. Then we look at guys who wants to run silver. And obviously we can talk about the golds just for the cherry on top. Let's start with the socials who want to finish.
100%.
Where should they be fit?
Right, so as a social, you should be doing 1/3 of your total distance at least a week by now. In other words, you're running 90Ks, so you must be doing at least 30Ks by now. But preferably doubling it up. So you need to be at least 60, maybe even 70Ks a week, and looking at 1 or 2 long runs. Be careful that you're not doing a lot of little 10K runs and you think you're going to survive 90 kilometers. 90 kilometers is a long day, it's a long way. Don't let them tell you it's 89. 89, 90 is the same thing. You're going to have a tough day. You need to start thinking in the next 3 to 4 weeks, you could probably salvage a lot of stuff by adding some long runs. You can't ramp up too much because then you might end up with injuries. But you can certainly start adding value, not the thing that you would do like the last 3 weeks when you're going to panic mode. Big thing is that most athletes go into panic mode. At the last 7 weeks, they start to think about it, but in the last 3 weeks, they're trying to do a quick fix, which is not going to happen.
Right, and the guys chasing silvers?
Guys chasing silvers, they should be well and thoroughly doing probably, I would say, 120 to 160 Ks a week at least. They know, those guys know, they sub 3 hour marathon guys, they kind of know what they need to be doing. They're doing a long time. A lot of the guys have done silver already or just missed silver. Again, I believe your long runs are critical. If you're not going to if you're doing the longest run you're going to do is 40 kilometers and you're going to go and try double that up on a race day with extreme hills and challenges in terms of your nutrition, at a different pace than what you used to normally, it's going to be a tough day. So I recommend that you start thinking about spending more time on the legs. It's not quality, it's more time on the legs. If you're going to run 7.5 hours, surely you should be able to run 7.5 hours. You should be able to stand on your legs for 7.5 hours.
Oh, got you. And then now, just to cherry on top or ask about the elites, the guys that will be chasing your goals or running under 6 hours, I would say.
Yes.
So your 6 with your 5:55s, your 5:45s, your 5:20s, and your 5:30s. Just in general, where would you think someone like that should be? Because I think there's some social out there who are targeting those times. So those guys, without your leadership, where should they be for free of charge tip?
For a free of charge tip, the mileage should be up by 180, up to above 180 now. It should be way above 180 as a pro. But you have to have adapted to this. You can't just start, you used to run 100 Ks a week and now all of a sudden you're doing 180 Ks. That's doubling your overload. You're going to get problems. So you had to already adapt it to that. But I'm sure somebody is hoping for an outside gold or outside Wally would. I think that guy is already there. He's kind of understood. Again, looking at every weakness you have in your running, there's many weaknesses. It's muscle endurance, speed endurance, stamina, strength, whatever. You need to know what your weaknesses are, and by now you start to work on them properly. And then don't taper too long. I know we're probably going to come to taper, but don't taper too long. Whether you're a social athlete or whether you're a pro athlete, if you taper too long, your body goes into recovery. If it goes into recovery, you can't jump from recovery to fight. You got to go from normal to fight. So you got normal in the center, recovery on this side, and fight on this side.
And if you're able to share what is taper too long, is it on some kind of ratio? There's some kind of formula we can try to use? Obviously, it's just guidance. It's not to say do it that way, but it's coming from your opinion as a professional coach, for over 40 years.
Yes.
So I think it will, use it or lose it. Doesn't really matter.
100%.
Share some general kind of shareable information. What would you say is a long taper, and what would you say is a good taper?
I think a 3-week taper is ridiculous. You'll be out of shape by the time you get to the race. And taper is a relative statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what you're saying, you're dropping let's say you're doing 120 Ks, you're dropping it down by 20 Ks or 30 Ks in the next week, the 3 weeks before. That's maybe not so bad. I generally find my athletes perform much better all the way up to the Wednesday before the big race. So they keep training to the Wednesday before the big weights. Obviously the week before we're not doing long runs, obviously, but we're doing a little more quality. We up the quality, drop the quantity a little bit the last week only. And even then I'm dubious. It must not be too low, because again, I don't want to go into full recovery. Full recovery, I'm going to get to the start of the race. I'm going to try to push my body into race, and it has to go to normal first. So I'm going to have a harsh first half. My legs are going to feel weird. I'm not going to feel comfortable. And then, of course, then I'm going to mess up my race. And you spend 6 months fixing for this race. It's not really a good idea.
Now let's talk about sometimes things don't go as planned, right? And then you can you're not where you are, like with 7 weeks to go. Let's say you're a little bit behind. All right. How far do you think is too far behind, and how far do you think is not too bad, we can still salvage? So we can say 7 weeks, someone doing 120 for a social runner, someone doing 120 kilometers now, maybe they're doing, 80. Is that a bad thing? When would you say you're in a bad zone at 7 weeks out?
If you're in 7 weeks out and you're battling to run a 30-kilometer run, then I think you're biting off a lot for the day. You could probably finish, but I think you're going to be begging for a 12-hour run. If you can able to run a comfortable, say 30 Ks, comfortable, then you're okay. You're okay for a finisher. That is a finish. If you're a silver medalist, you should be able to run a 50K comfortably now by now. And when I mean comfortable, nobody's comfortable on 50K. When you finish up today, you're still tired. But certainly you find that when you finished, it's like, okay, I've done this run for the day. It's not, oh, I'm dying, I'm hanging, I'm crawling into the bed, that type of thing.
Right, yeah. And then now if we dive into the nutrition part that you can share free of charge, what kind of things as an ultra long Comrades runner should I be eating? What kind of foods should I be focusing on? Just in general, like, is it pap, is it rice, is it, steaks, is it protein? What could you say? Well,
here's the reality. Your energy food is all the starches, obviously. But these need to be used when they need to be used. They can't be used all day, every day. And then you be careful of your fats, especially your inflammatory fats, like these seed oils and things like this. We all know they're rubbish. They don't work properly. And so we need to understand that that's not the type of stuff you should be taking in. If you keep getting niggles and little troubles in your body with this heavy training, check your oils first. Make sure that your oils are low on omega-6 and 9 and high on omega-3s. Okay. Then you're probably in a good place there. Then look at your protein. Your protein intake is the only thing that makes muscle is protein. So protein intake will rejuvenate muscle. That's the rejuvenation monsters. So that's the one you need. And
I believe you've got your protein products as well, so they can always go to the lifestyle.
Yes.
Lifestyle.co.za. They can just go to lifestyle.co.za. There you've got your electrolytes, you've got your protein there as well, yes, and other recovery products, and go check out, right?
No, D, thanks for the hype. I quite agree. It's John's new lifestyle. Yes. .com.
Then they can go and get some stuff there. All right. And for you personally, what are you looking forward to this year? Hey, I think now, 2025. I don't know what Comrades this is. Is it race number 99 or number 98?
98, I think. Yes.
98. Hey, what are you looking to see? What are the positive things you're looking to see at Comrades this year?
Well, we had a good talk to the GM, and a very constructive man. I think they're heading in the right direction. We had a lot of, I don't like the word challenges, but a lot of happenings last year which didn't work out. It was a chaotic thing. We actually took a back seat, and probably people following our team kind of saw that, I think. But we're looking forward to a good year this year. We've had some shakes and things that we needed to address, and we're still addressing them. But I think I advise people to go to the start. Be careful, there might be security issues, obviously. It's in Pietermaritzburg, and it's probably the worst place for criminality at the moment. I think it's the number 1 in the country. But you got to go and see the cockcrow. This was a tradition of Comrades. It made me get involved with Comrades as a young boy of 15 years old. I ran my first Comrades 15 years old. I just couldn't finish. Obviously, they wouldn't let me finish. So I ran with a bucket and a sponge, running with another friend. Just so when we got to the gate, they kicked me out, but that's okay. So it was just something to see. all these hundreds and hundreds of people with this cock crow and the whole vibe. It was really spectacular. Last year we couldn't get anybody there, which is quite sad. That is part of Comrades. I hear they got 2 starts. I don't quite know how it's all going to work, but I'm pretty sure, I think 2 starts is probably a good move. Probably a good move. It was long overdue. Maybe mat to mat will be a better move, but let's see where we'll get to it, because that's the international standard, mat to mat. I know that other races like Athens Marathon, they've got 40,000 people that they handle, and they do mat to mat, and there's absolutely no waiting whatsoever. It's so pleasant.
Next we'll look at the Comrades course itself. I think you've done a ton of these Comrades courses. So for anyone running, especially I'm targeting our social runners, maybe new guys as well. What are the key points of interest during Comrades for a runner? So I'm talking about you tackling. There's maybe there's flats somewhere, there's hills somewhere, there's climbing somewhere. And
there's plenty of them.
I mean, you're a pro when it comes to. You're a nutritionist or nutrition coach. That's your business. So at what points in the race do you feel like the body is now fighting? I mean, in general, at some point, at a 45 mark, you start burning sugars or whatever. Maybe at a 2-hour mark, you start burning sugars. So give us those things, please, like from 10 kilometer, 20 kilometer, 30, halfway, and then 60, 75, and then run to the finish. Just break it down for us.
I like the way you're breaking it down, because it's very difficult if you're running on your watch per kilometer, watching it all the time. That's going to be a nightmare for the day. And then you might be losing a bit of time and then gaining a bit of time, because it's very hilly. You're going through the Valley of 1,000 Hills. You start in the race, and I can tell you, Comrades, when you get 30 Ks done on the down run, you feel like, wow, what is going on with my legs? Because it's really a tough route, and that's probably what makes Comrades what it is. It's tough. Whether it's down or up, it makes it tough. So your nutrition a little bit earlier, maybe. You need to keep feeding continuously. I hope everything is in order, the water and stuff en route. But if not, get your people to make sure you got some good water. Make sure you have already tested your supplementation. If you haven't tested it, you should test everything. Don't do anything new on race day, which includes new underwear, which includes new socks, which includes new clothing. Don't try something new. Those fancy new shoes that you want to go buy at Expo, don't do that. Don't do that. That's not smart. You should have your shoes in 6 weeks out, your running shoes that you're going to run the race. Your kit that's going to run in the race should be in a box ready to go. You use the other stuff for training, and that stuff is basically been tested and tried.
All right. And then at the halfway mark, how should we be feeling as a runner there?
Funny thing is, you feel horrible around about 30 or 40 Ks, but then when you get to halfway and you hear the chaos at halfway mark at Drummond, it kind of vibes you up a little bit. You feel a lot better. And then you realize, well, I've done half of this thing. Now it's time. I know that the 60K mark, I always classify it as halfway.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Because it's kind of where you need to think about that. So you don't do anything crazy before that, because most people, their nutrition crashes at 60 Ks more or less. So here's where they start eating all kinds of funny things and doing the weirdest things I've ever seen, which they've never done ever before.
That's a good point you make there. It's actually, for a Comrades runner, never mind the maths, all right? We understand. Never mind the maths, but your actual halfway point when you're running Comrades is 60 Ks.
Yes.
That's where you need to start checking yourself.
This is where you should be comfortable.
Whether you're an elite, you're a social, you are walking it or whatever. 60 Ks, we check our vitals.
100%. Now we're in the fight. No, we're not in the fight if we're an elite. Now the game is tough now. As an elite, as a silver guy, this is where we're going to have to buckle down and do the job. This is not going to be holiday camp now. And you have to have set your mind about that before the race, not during the race, because then during the race you're going to go through lots of emotions and you're going to find yourself negotiating again. Be careful of that negotiation. Don't overestimate, but also don't underestimate, and don't allow your body to compromise during the race. So in other words, you get to halfway and you think, I'm out of the silver bar, I'm so close, 5 minutes, I'm not going to make it. Then it's time to say, well, now I've got to buckle down and I've got to run. I've got to do it.
Now we've crossed our halfway point, which is 60 Ks. Let's talk about now we are at, I would say maybe between 70 and 75 kilometers.
Yes.
Right. You've conquered the halfway, you've done 15 Ks of fighting. What could be happening there? What do we check for?
Well, at that stage, you are fighting with yourself. Your body, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
You run 70 Ks or whatever, your body's hurting. Whether you jog 70 Ks in training or whether you're just running 70 Ks or you're racing 70 Ks, by this stage it's hurting. So now it's the mind games. It's time to focus on the mind, put your head down and tick-tock. I call it tick-tock. You're doing what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. Don't try to negotiate for the walkie-talkie thing. When you walk, you lose a minute. When you stop, you lose a minute. This is quick, lots of minutes that add up. Don't go to the water and say, I need a stop, because then you'll find you'll have a lot more stops. I'm not a good seller of this walkie-talkie stuff, walk and run, because the mind is a negotiator. And it's always negotiating on the principle of your energy. In other words, it's always looking to see where it can conserve energy. I'll give you an example. If I have to decide on a cold day whether I should watch Netflix in front of the nice fire or I should go for my run, it's going to be a very difficult decision, because the comfort of that nice fire with a nice Netflix movie and maybe popcorn or whatever, it'll be nice, but I know I need to go out there. The brain doesn't want you and it'll fight you. It's like you have the good devil and the little angel on the one side. That little devil keeps negotiating with you. And when you get to 60 Ks, he's out in force. He's out to negotiate with you. He's one to tell you, okay, just walk a little bit, the soreness will go away. I like Kipchoge said, absorb the pain, understand the pain, and I mean, this is a wonderful man. Absorb the pain, understand the pain, and live with it. Use it. Use it to say, I'm getting to the end. And it's funny, when you do that, how the brain starts to comply. It's like you have two people in you. You got to fight that fight to get through it.
Okay. So it's going to be a mental battle. You heard
Oh,
that?
yes.
It's going to be a mental battle. So it's normal, actually, that from 75 to whatever Comrades decide, it's going to be 85 this year, 84, or 88, or 89, or 90, or 91, or 92. From 75 to the range of finishing points that Comrades always comes up with. It's going to be a mental thing. It's normal to be feeling like you are dying, but you just got to fight it, know the pain, understand it, and then just live through it.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, there's another thing I'd like to get free of charge out of you. And this is just a disclaimer. Right, this is not saying this is medical advice. It's always a good idea to consult your nutritionist or your doctor, wherever they are. But for someone maybe who does not afford, I mean, you know, Comrades is like a race for the people. All right, I would like to think so. You know, we'll talk about the fees later. But generally, it's a race for the people. So an average person can't afford a nutritionist, physio, and all that stuff. Back to saying they're going to be running into issues like cramps, muscle fatigue, and all those things, dizziness. So in general, you know, what should someone pack? Just like from a general sense, what should I be having? What kind of things do I need to make sure I've got with me? I mean, I've got 7 weeks out now. Is that enough time for me to be testing supplements of some kind?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Recommend anything? I mean, you're welcome to recommend your equivalent products from nutrition, new nutrition. So I'm happy for that as well. And obviously, they can look for something in comparison.
100%.
Not to say this is we're giving medical advice. No, it's just we're sharing as a social running community.
Absolutely. Well, as a nutrition specialist, I think that it's a science for the top end of the guys. For the lower end of the guys, in terms of the social athletes and the guys that are not that so much, they used to always call runners Coke and T-shirt boys, you know. But we know that that's certainly far from ideal. But what we've kind of not realized, and we've only realized it over the last few years, when we've refined our athletes to absolutely have a consistent energy that progressively dies until you get to the end. Because nobody's going to improve their energy during the race. That's a lie. You will start with X amount of energy, and you progressively will taper down to the end of your race where you're running out of energy. All that you're using on the route is just like pillars to keep that graph going to the finish. It extends it. If you don't, obviously it crashes, and then you're in a very bad place. So you need to have things that pillar it. But I can honestly say a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbs, that's pretty much what you need. And of course, water, of course. But not too much water, not too little water. You want to hydrate, but you don't want to overhydrate. That can cause tons of other problems. So that's kind of where you need to be. But the big one is the 3 days before. 3 days before Comrades, you need to eat properly. If you get to Comrades on the night, the Saturday night, and you are hungry, My friend, you've already messed with your glycogen, and you're going to be not in a happy camper's
What
place.
would you say is a good plate of food that I should be having 3 nights before? Should I either have 5 potatoes, pap, I don't know, spinach? What should I throw into my plate?
Well, honestly, the best one I would say night before the race is probably a nice big pile of chicken with some maybe pap or rice. And you're not too worried about the greens at that stage. You're not going to be worried about minerals and fiber. That's not going to be the big issue. The big issue is energy, yeah, and you want protein, definitely. And not too fatty, because if it's too fatty, you don't absorb. It takes longer to absorb. And like, don't go and say, I'll have a chicken curry or something stupid like that.
Okay,
You should be eating what you've been eating all along.
That's also rule number 1.
Yeah, you should be sleeping the way you were sleeping. So don't go down to down to Durban, like I saw now at the other race in Cape Town. I saw guys going there and booking in a hotel a week before and having honeymoon and partying. Well, then you're going to have a tough race day. That's going to happen. That's it. You can party as much as you like after the race. And you can have as many curries as you want. Yes.
After the race. No worries, Coach. I think that's about it that I'll say for our 7 weeks out plan for all people running Comrades. And we'll see what we can do now, maybe with 4 weeks out and 3 weeks out. Then we can discuss more about maybe where they should be when they're tapering. So I want to thank you for your time. And again, this is not like professional advice. It's really just saying I wanted to just interview a professional coach that coaches professional athletes and try to salvage some freebies without paying the premium price. But obviously, if people want to get professional coaching, I think you are available for that, and we can deep dive into the actual nitty-gritty. I do know that you provide actual diet programs, meal programs, and also supplements. So if anyone is interested, I will leave it in the description, and they can always reach out to you and then ask you at a personal basis what advice they need. But thank you so much, Coach. Have a good one.
Thank you very much, Dee.